What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am here with a video that I've wanted to do for a very, very, very long time. This is my list of the top 15 pro wrestlers who never held the heavyweight strap in the WWE. I picked 15 of my favorite superstars that maybe didn't get the big break in WWE or WWF at the time that maybe they did in WCW or TNA or that kind of thing. All these wrestlers are some of my favorites. It's hard to pick, and number these guys, but I'm going to actually make this a top 16. Top 16 wrestlers that never got the heavyweight strap, the WWE title, whatever you want, either one of the titles. One of these wrestlers held it in WCW, but I don't know if you want to, whatever. So, number 6, this isn't, I don't have any of these numbered. I'm just going to try and do this. Number 16, in my opinion, one of the most underrated superstars in history, Jeff Jarrett. Really great talent, and if you delve into the business a little further, he's got a really wonderful mind for the business. He got the Intercontinental Championship. I think he had a tag team title run or two with Road Dogg, but when he went to TNA, he did a lot better. Obviously, he was doing the shows, but WCW, he was squandered. WWE, he was kind of squandered. He was going through a change in his life. He didn't want the offensiveness happening. But not to go off topic, but I definitely think this is the guy that potentially could have held the title at one time. My number 15, I put Kama Mustafa, a.k.a. Papa Shango, a.k.a. the Good Father, a.k.a. the Godfather. If you go back and you watch the feud Papa Shango had with Ultimate Warrior, it was phenomenal. He was a villain. He terrified me as a child. You look at the Godfather, I mean, that was Attitude Era right there for sure. But Kama Mustafa, really, I just actually was starting to watch a match he had with the person I'm going to pick a little later, Bam Bam Bigelow. Solid matchup. But these guys, Charles Wright, a.k.a. the Godfather, definitely was a showman. He could definitely change his gimmick and be, a versatile talent, whatever he did. Maybe not so much the Good Father, but Godfather was legit. But Kama Mustafa and especially Papa Shango. Papa Shango was an awesome villain in 1980s and early 1990s. It was a phenomenal character. Number 14, I've got the Iceman, Dean Malenko. One of the best cruiserweight wrestlers of all time, and saying cruiserweight kind of takes him out of heavyweight contention, I guess, but phenomenal mind for the business, just a sensational wrestler, man of 1,001 holds, right? Man of 1,000. Just phenomenal talent. He's still working for WWE behind the scenes. Had as huge success in WCW when they were really, really putting a lot of effort into the cruiserweight division. Came over and became, a mid-carder again in WWE, but he was with the Radicals, and it was really, really sensational talent in this man. I believe we are at number 12 now. I picked Ravishing Rick Rude. Obviously, he's got the body. He's got the look. He had the attitude. An Intercontinental Champion. He had the greatest manager of all time at one time, Bobby Heenan. Phenomenal talent. I mean, you look at this guy. He put it all out there to put on a hell of a show. Whether it was custom tights or it was just being, he was just phenomenal. I mean, his wrestling ability was beautiful. He did a great job, and gone before the time. Another one, number 11, I got Flying Brian Pillman, the Loose Cannon. His WWE career was very, very short-lived, unfortunately. But I mean, that storyline. I mean, that was the beginning of an Attitude Era. I mean, his feud with Stone Cold was amazing. His matchups in WCW were really good. I definitely think that if time had allotted, that would have been a phenomenal storyline between these two for the belt. Just wonderful, wonderful person gone too soon. We hit the top 10 now, and I have Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know, I believe he was the first ever Royal Rumble winner, right? Battle Royal, you know. I just saw him 2 summers ago, and he's still got it. He's a cancer survivor. He's still plugging away. He's still so nice, so kind. He's in really good shape, and he can really wrestle. You look at him back in the day, man, he was killing it. He's a fan favorite. He's got a simple idea as a character, and he's just a red-blooded American hard-working guy, and he kills it. He's just a phenomenal person, and I think he could have went pretty far. We got number 9. We have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Nothing against him, you know. I wish he was higher up in the ranks. I just have top 16. It's not necessarily one's better than the other, but really sensational talent. I mean, you look at the matches he had with Randy Savage, just wonderful matches. If you were to show someone who didn't like wrestling or didn't know what wrestling was a match, show them that match at Mania. Beautiful match. I mean, his outfits were wonderful. He could put together a match. He's still working for WWE to this day. He's doing phenomenal things. Then we have the bad guy, Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall. If things had worked better for him, going from that amazing ladder match, even though it wasn't the first ladder match, if you really look into it, he did a wonderful job, with Shawn Michaels, and, personal problems aside, he had the look. He was a huge guy, just huge, and he could really move in the ring when he was in his prime. That's another one I would definitely pick as a potential champion. I think we're at number 8 now. One of his best, I believe, is an AWA. One of his best rivalries, and was with Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. Can't top a talent like him, man. He could do anything and everything. Great on the mic, great in the ring, looked great, had a phenomenal persona about him, and almost didn't have the Mr. Perfect character. I believe it was Terry Taylor almost had it, right? Just sensational talent. Gone way too soon. WCW career, man, but he was really wonderful. One of my favorite superstars of all time. Then, number 6, we have the Beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow. Really doesn't get the credit he deserves. The best big man, in my opinion, of all time. His weight fluctuated here and there, but he could move. I mean, how many guys can you see do a pin-perfect backflip, and he could do somersaults. He could do pretty much anything an average-sized wrestler could do. He wasn't the most buff, defined guy, but he was a beast, plain and simple. Gone way too soon. Sensational talent right here. Best big man of all time. He was dominating, but he knew his moves, and he could do them really well, and he was captivating. One of my favorites. I think we're at number 5. Let me see. Okay, number 5, I'm going to give to... this is tough right here. This is real life. I'm going to give to Davey Boy Smith. Wonderful wrestler. Huge powerhouse. This is the definition of what a 1980s, early 90s pro wrestler looked like, wanted to strive to be. He was personable. He looked great. He was part of one of the most historic families in history. Sensational talent. I know I keep saying the same words, but he was sensational. once he, it's kind of like Samson when he chopped off his locks. His career kind of floundered a little bit, and personal problems and alcohol, but I mean, he was really a wonderful talent, and one of my favorites for sure. It's sad to think of him as gone, Number 4, I've got the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. Amazing on the mic, if you could understand what he said, but no, and he could really move in the ring. If you look up some of his 80s promos, early 90s promos, they're insane. He could captivate you. He had you right here every single time he was on the mic, in the ring, and a great mind for the business, and he's a cancer survivor. Almost got to see him. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful talent. Down to earth, cool, chill guy. Now we're down to number 3? I'm going to pick Arn Anderson. One of the best talents to ever hit the business. I believe he had a WWF tag title with Tully Blanchard as the Brainbusters, and of course he had a couple U.S. title runs in WCW. He might have had the tag titles with Ric Flair. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Apologize, but he was a sincere guy. Currently working for WWE, I do believe, and he could just captivate. I mean, this is just classic chain wrestling, beautifully done. He was just a severely underrated, underutilized superstar. This guy could have been one of the best. And I mean, he is one of the best, but he could have been the poster boy for wrestling. He was a wonderful talent, one of the best I've ever seen in my life, one of my favorites. And I would trade dads. I wish he was my dad. Number 2, we have the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Phenomenal talent. This is one of the first bad guys that I actually like this guy a lot. Same could be said for Arn Anderson. I mean, truth be told, I'm like, man, I know I'm a little kid, and I'm like, man, I'm supposed to dislike this guy, but I can't help but kind of want him to win. And there's like this 7-minute match he had with Bret Hart. I don't think it was a pay-per-view. It was just like a Saturday Night Main Event or something like that from early 90s. And it was like a 7-minute match. And he stalled for like 3 minutes of it. But it was amazing. His stalling techniques were and currently are unparalleled. He could draw heat. He could make the fans hate him like it was nothing. I mean, he could do it. And one of my favorite superstars. These are all guys I really, really like. And he's my number 2. Doesn't mean I don't like him more than number 1, but you want to know who my number 1 pick for greatest superstar to never get the big championship? Owen Hart. The Blue Blazer, the Black Heart, the Rocket, whatever you want to call him. Owen Hart could have been the biggest thing in WWE, in my opinion. Obviously, the Hart family legacy, the biggest family in wrestling. Bret Hart is one of my favorite. He's in my top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. Well, Owen Hart, taken way too soon. I still remember the day in 1999. It was 98. It was over the edge. I still remember I had the pay-per-view. It was just, anyway, I don't want to think about that, but just one of the most wonderful wrestlers of all time. From what I've heard, he was just the kindest person you could ever meet. Loved to do jokes, but his wrestling ability is sensational. I look back to that WrestleMania 10 where he had that 26-minute opening match with Bret Hart, and it was just wonderful. We got that quick roll up, and those cage matches he had with Bret. It was just a sensational time in wrestling for me. That was when I was growing up. Those were people I looked up to. I didn't know who I wanted to like more, Bret or Owen, and You know, when Stu and Helen were torn between which son to root for, you know, I was torn too because I really liked them both. You know, just one of my favorite superstars of all time, and definitely, you know, I loved, my favorite character of his was the Black Heart. It was very short-lived. They brought him back, unfortunately, as a Blue Blazer, and we all know the horrific event that happened there. But, you know, just what would have happened if they had let him build off that Black Heart character. You know, he could have been a champion. He could have, and he could have carried the WWE. And definitely wish he had either got that character or, you know, he was a man of honor. He honored his WWE. He had been in WCW before he went to WWE. A lot of people don't realize that. It was very short-lived and pretty much uneventful. But, you know, he had been offered to go with Brett and Davey to go to WCW. And I honestly wish that probably would have been the best thing for him to go to WCW. But, you know, things happen, obviously, and, you know, we got to honor his memory and honor the other fallen superstars like Davey Boy Smith and Bam Bam Bigelow, Rick Rude, Brian Pillman, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. You know, these are all sensational talents, and I'm sure there's 30 more superstars that probably deserve the title as well. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys like my list of 16? I couldn't whittle it down to 15. Were you surprised by any of them? Leave a comment. Let me know what your list is. Make a video response. And share my video if you can. Click an ad. Click a commercial. Appreciate everyone who leaves comments. So have a good day. And let me know what you want for the next list. Have a great one.